Has money always felt confusing to you? Do you feel like you're behind the eight ball? Maybe you never learned the game of money. I'm here to tell you today that if you feel like you're just not quite understanding what you need to be doing financially, or you're so far behind now that it's too late to catch up, that's very common. A lot of people feel that way. A lot of clients I've worked with have felt that way. And it always starts with organization, having a clear understanding of where your money is currently going, what's coming in, what's going out the door, and getting organized is that first step. From there, there's so many types of investments you can learn about, and there's all these different strategies that financial advisors will share about on TikTok and Instagram, and you'll hear all these gurus. But ultimately, it starts with one, getting organized. So, how much money am I making today? How much of it am I keeping? And how much of it am I spending? Right? There's only a few places that money can go ultimately. So, keep it simple. Secondly, how do I start building out a foundation? That starts with savings. Savings is places where I put my money, where it's safe, liquid, and it's going to grow. So oftentimes that's savings. I oftentimes like to use whole life insurance as a foundational tool because it's safe, guaranteed to grow. Then once we build out that foundation, we create a discipline. You create a discipline by putting money into your foundation every single month. So every month you put money into your foundation. You put money where it's going to guaranteed grow for you and make you wealthier month after month after month. From there, we can then decide, once we have enough savings built up and once we have a discipline that's forming, we can then decide to include other investment opportunities. Maybe that's a simple brokerage account, putting money into a retirement account now, and setting money aside for the future ultimately, right? Let's start back from step one though. Step one is get organized, build out that foundation, and start forming that discipline. The number one thing that you can do wrong today is not do anything, right? You're not behind the eight ball. It's not that confusing. It's just you may have never learned the game of money. I think about being a tennis player, right? As a tennis player, there's a lot of things that go into tennis. You've got the footwork, you've got the technique, you've got the strategy of playing a point. You've got all these different moving pieces. So when you go out and you play in a tennis match, you have to be executing on so many different fronts at once. If you go to watch a professional tennis tournament, people will say, "Gosh, that those players are fast. They hit the ball so hard. How do they do all of that?" And it all started from when they were a little kid like myself, and we learned the basic fundamentals, which is really good footwork, specific footwork of how to move around a tennis court, how to take a racket back and swing it properly. And over years and years of repetition, that goes from basic, simple fundamentals and turning it into overall game that we can play out on the fastest, most competitive court, which is professional tennis. Same goes for your finances. When it comes to where you start simple. You start with the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are organization and building out a foundational discipline, which starts with money you can put away and still have access to for the opportunities that you're going to grow into. And so if you're someone that feels behind the eight ball, just know this, that finances, as complex as they can seem at times, are not meant to be that way. A lot of the industry is designed that way to confuse yourself and to make you make decisions that might not be in your best interest. But ultimately, when you think about it, if I can put money away in savings, I can have a clear discipline about doing that. Once I have that built out, I can start putting money away long term for my future into a brokerage account, an IRA, other retirement accounts. I can work my way into investing in real estate and other ventures. Maybe that's a business opportunity for you. I can continue to take it step by step by step. Where I spend the majority of time with my clients, whether they're just starting out in their financial journey or they've actually been successful for many years, is going back to the basics, which is that foundation. Because even wealthy individuals and families oftentimes forget about how important that foundation is. And so I'm telling you today that you're probably not behind the eight ball. You just need to be reminded that let's start somewhere small today and let's start building for the future tomorrow. Nothing great is built overnight. And just know that no matter whether you're starting big or small today, start with that organization, start building that discipline. And from there, you can continue to build on the wins and the victories, just like I did with tennis, starting from a young guy that's figuring out how to move around a tennis court, figuring out how do I take my racket back to hit a proper forehand or backhand, and ultimately making my way to collegiate and professional tennis, where you're having to do a lot of things really quickly in a highly competitive environment on the spot with a lot of pressure. I love to use sports analogies, but bringing it back to it all, is someone that's coached a lot of tennis as well. It all starts with the fundamentals, and the same things with your finances. Start with the basic fundamentals, and you can build from there. If you enjoyed the content today, like, subscribe, leave a comment in the section below. Would love to hear from you guys and your thoughts on this topic.